Hi guys, my name is Shingai. I am the founder of Reb & Co. I mainly make food scented candles, which are bakery scented and anything sweet. In today's video, we're going to be talking about 5 things that I wish I knew before you start a candle business, before I started a candle business. So the first thing, I'll be looking down at my paper because I can't remember just the whole thing. I wrote down a few things. So the first thing that I would say is don't waste your time. Just start. Don't second guess a lot of things. At least if you have an idea of what you want to do, just get on with it and start. Why? Because if you're indecisive like me, you will want to change your mind so many times, and rather you just start than waiting for you to be absolutely perfect and then you start. It's just better you start. Also, with you, the first thing that you should do, I think you should get your socials ready. For instance, that's the same name on Instagram, the same name if you want to be on TikTok, Facebook, a website, and I don't know, if a trademark and all that. So I would say you should just start and stop second guessing yourself. The second thing that I would say is figure out your budget, because people start their businesses, with different types of budgets. For me, myself, I didn't start with a lot of money, but for some people, they might have savings and they might use their savings. But if you were like me, and if you're a bit indecisive and you didn't know your footing where you wanted to be at that moment in time, I started with wax melts. I did not start with candles. Why? Because candles, when it comes to buying the vessels, when it comes to buying the candle wax, when it comes to buying the fragrance oils, that is expensive. So you need to figure out, first of all, you need to figure out what type of fragrance oils you would like to start with. And the ones that you're going to choose, and fragrance oils are quite expensive, be it you using essential oils or fragrance oils. So you need to figure out what fragrance oils you're going to be using, and you need to test them. So you're better off starting, well, take my advice with a grain of salt, but I started with wax melts. So if you start with wax melts, if you do choose to start with wax melts, you can test those wax melts and see if they work with that type of wax that you want to work with. For instance, I worked with cocoa soy. That works well. It adheres well to fragrance oils. It's easy to work with. It's not like some other type of it's just like some other type of wax that you would use. So if you figure out your budget, and if you're like me, if your budget was very low when you started, I started with wax melts, and then I worked my way up to making candles. Also, with figuring out your budget, you get to find out that there are different types of waxes that you can use, different types of wicks, different types of candle jars. So that takes time to figure out, and all that needs testing. Certain things work differently with certain things. You can get, your candle might smell nice when it's not burning, but the moment you switch it on, the moment you light it up, it doesn't produce that nice hot throw. So you have to be really cautious. Also, not waste a lot of money buying a lot of fragrance oils that you will not use at the end of the day. I would suggest use, for instance, if you make up your mind, just try to go for 6 fragrance oils. It's easier to work with, it's easier to break down. For instance, if you want to make different types of products, for instance, you can use those same type of fragrance oils with candles, wax melts. If you really want to be adventurous, some people make body mists, some people make reed diffusers. That's quite good as well. So it's one of those things that you really have to make up your mind in terms of what you want to spend and the types of fragrance oils and the raw materials that you want to use. The third tip that I would give is to grow a community, because it's hard. With some, being a product-based business is not easy, depending on the type of product that you're selling. Some products are easy to sell, but things such as candles, they're hard to sell because you can't smell them through the screen. So unless a person knows how it really smells, it's difficult to get someone to buy your candle. But for instance, like I said, let's say if you start with wax melts, a person can start with wax melts and they can buy your wax melts before they invest into buying a bigger candle jar. So if you grow a community, for instance, on Instagram, or if you grow a community on TikTok, show them your journey and everything, that about how you're making your candles, how you're making your wax melts and everything. By the time you launch, at least you have 1 or 2 people who are interested in your products. And if not, you can send some of your products to a few certain people to try them out, and they can give you reviews, and you can then sell them. Also, selling candles doesn't necessarily mean, when you're growing a community, you don't have to grow it online only. Some people do sell at markets, local markets. So let's say if you live in a town where, if you go to your local markets and if you regularly go there and sell your candles, people can start to know you within that area, and you can actually start building a business, and people will always, you can actually have returning customers. So yeah, that's another way to grow a community. But online is also nice because it's just one of those things whereby it's just a good backbone for your business if you're trying to sell candles. The other tip that I would give is know the law. To know the laws around making candles within your country, or wherever you're based. I do know that the law in the United Kingdom is quite different to other countries. For instance, we can't make, here in the UK, you can't make any candles that look like edibles, like anything that looks like food. You can't do that. Your scents can be different, they can smell like anything else, but you can't make it look like a cupcake, you can't make it look like a biscuit or somewhere. But people in the US, they're quite free to do that. I don't know about some other countries as well, but I know in the UK as well, they're quite strict about CPLs, about the ingredients and everything that goes in the candle. So when you buy a fragrance oil, you can get CPL labels for that fragrance, and you use that for whenever you make your wax melts or your candles or whatever product that you want to make. Another tip that many people don't say, because I've watched a lot of videos about this, about how you should grow your business and stuff like that. But I think it's everyone's wish when they start a small business that it scales, it grows into something that has a proper backbone, instead of like relying only on like social media. I think you should learn how to do SEO. So when you learn SEO, it helps you. For instance, if you have a Pinterest account, and if you open a Pinterest account for your business, if you do study SEO properly, and then you implement it into your listings when you're listing your products, you tend to rank higher when someone just goes on Google and types, or a bakery scented candle, or you know. So it's pretty much hard when you're doing the SEO work, when you're doing a bit of research, when you're doing it and stuff like that, but it does pay in the long run, compared to you having to go online, you having to be on TikTok every other day and having to sell a product. Yes, it makes sense. For some people it does work, but it doesn't work for the majority of us. So for instance, if you were to make good pins on Pinterest, and if you were to just work on your SEO in your website, unless if you're on Etsy, because on Etsy, you know, it's just like a whole ecosystem of its own. But if you're on Shopify, you have to drive your own traffic to the website. You really have to learn SEO. It's one thing that you have to keep on learning, trying to get better at it every other time. You have to tweak your website every other time. And yeah, because at the end of the day, you do want to rank high on the SEO search engine. So that drives a lot of, you know, traffic to your website. And my last tip would be buying your raw materials from reputable sources. I know, because I know, me included, when I wanted to start my candle business, I thought, oh, I'll just go on Amazon and buy my stuff from Amazon. But then in the long run, if you're going to be buying something that you're going to, let's say if you just want to, if you're really starting from scratch, if you're like a beginner and you want to try and see what you can do and you're not too confident in yourself, it's fine. But if you want somewhere whereby you're going to make a product and you're going to sell it to someone, you're better off buying from a reputable seller, a wholesaler, a vendor. Why? Because Amazon doesn't always sell the things at the same time. You can buy from one seller one thing today, and then the next it's no longer there. So you need some type of consistency in terms of like vessels, your soy wax, your candle wicks, and stuff like that. Here in the UK, there are a few places where you can buy your supplies. For instance, supply for candles. I'm sure if you've been making candles for a while, and if you go on Google search, these companies will come up. So that's supply for candles, supplies for candles, scent and soap for candles. That's another company. There is Candle Shack. There is people say there's Live More, but I've never really bought from there. When it comes to fragrances, there's Nikura, there's Candle Shack. Some places, some of these suppliers, they sell a lot of things in the same place. I would advise you to, if you are going to be looking for anything from Amazon, it would be the other equipment that you use. For instance, like your pitchers, your thermometers, your scales, and stuff like that. But if it's like candle vessels and the wax and the fragrance oils, I would advise you to buy from somewhere where you would get the same product, the same consistency, and you can always go back there. Anyway, so yeah, that's it for this video. That's a few tips that I would suggest, or the few things that which I knew that I had to find out the hard way before I started making candles, and I wish this would help someone. And if they do, please comment in the comment section. And if you'd like to know more, and if you'd like to, you know, I haven't made candles I haven't been making candles for a long time, but from a lot of research, I can tell you that there's a lot that you need to find out, you know, that you need to do a little bit of research when it comes to making candles. But anyway, that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed the video, and please like, share and subscribe, And if you've got any questions, please comment in the comment section. And also please follow me on TikTok and Instagram. Thank you. Bye.